Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, cold for Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, what's that? What's that?
Oh, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Sorry, Bingo. Didn't mean to scare you, Bingo. We're going to read a little bit of one of my favourite Christmas novels by Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. But this part's a little bit scary. Marley's Ghost. So we're going to read Marley's Ghost from A Christmas Carol, right? Yes, that's right. Christmas Carol. Great. That's where the word Scrooge comes from. When you're a miser. Yes, what a miser. Scrooge. Miserly. Marley's Ghost. Mm-hmm. Remember, Marley was dead. Yes. As dead as a doornail. Oh yes, a doornail is quite dead, isn't it? Though he stared at the ghost and saw it standing in front of him, and even though he felt the chill of its dead cold eyes, he still did not believe it. He closed his eyes over and over again and tried to wish the ghost away. "How now?" said Scrooge, cold and mean as usual. "What do you want with me?" "Much," said Marley's voice, no doubt about it. "Who are you?" asked Scrooge. "Ask me who I was," replied Marley's voice. "Who were you then?" said Scrooge, raising his voice. "You're strange for a ghost." How would he know? This was the first ghost he had ever met. "In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley," said the ghost. Can you sit down?" asked Scrooge, looking doubtfully at it. "I can," said the ghost. "Do it then," said Scrooge. Scrooge asked the question because he didn't know whether a ghost could actually sit down in a chair or not. He felt that if it were impossible, the ghost would become embarrassed and have to give a long explanation. But the ghost sat down on the opposite side of the fireplace, as if it were quite used to it. "You don't believe in me," said the ghost. "I don't," said Scrooge. "But you can see, hear, and feel me," said the ghost. "Why don't you believe in me?" I don't know," said Scrooge. "Why do you doubt your senses?" asked the ghost. "Because senses can lie to you," replied Scrooge. "A little stomachache can make you see things that aren't there. You may be a spoiled bit of beef, some bad mustard, a crumb of cheese, or a piece of rotten potato. You're just something a man sees because of a fever." Scrooge actually did not usually get stomach aches. The truth is that he tried to be smart. He tried to think of excuses so that he would not have to think about the ghost. The ghost made him feel a horrible chill deep in his bones. If he sat and stared at those eyes that didn't move for a moment, he thought he would go crazy. There was something very awful, too, about how the ghost made its own cold air. The ghost seemed to have its own wind. Even though it was sitting still, its clothes still moved, as though a wind from under its feet were blowing them. "You see this toothpick?" said Scrooge. He tried to get the ghost not to look at him and look at something else instead. "I do," replied the ghost. "You're not looking at it," said Scrooge. "But I see it anyway," said the ghost. "Well, if I swallow this, I might die," said Scrooge. "Then I will only have my own thoughts to bother me, instead of ghosts outside like you. Humbug, I tell you, humbug!" At this, the ghost cried frightfully and shook its chain with such a loud, dreadful noise that Scrooge held on tight to his chair. Now, well, don't you think the children would be a little bit scared?
Hey, yeah, kids like a little bit of a scare. There's 3 more ghosts who visit Scrooge.
Dear.
And then he changes his ways. That's not a spoiler, it's a very old book. But have fun at Christmas.
Yes, now.
Don't be a Scrooge.
Don't be an Andrew. I mean a Scrooge.
Oh, woe is me.